Today, we're going to talk through a story that's deeply personal when that's all about persistence, science, and, well, hope. It all boils down to this one powerful statement: 5 IVF cycles, the 5th worked. This is for anyone who has ever felt that heavy weight of a failed cycle and is just looking for a little bit of understanding and maybe a way to look forward. And behind that one sentence was a 10-year journey. Just look at this timeline. It tells a story of incredible patience. Starting the journey in year 1, but the first cycle doesn't even happen until year 4. And then you see the years stretching out between the other cycles. You can just feel what's in those gaps, can't you? The recovery, the tough conversations, and that quiet, stubborn decision to try just one more time. And this just says it all, doesn't it? It really gets to the heart of what that journey feels like. Because after that much disappointment, hope isn't some big, bright, shiny thing anymore. It's fragile. It's something you have to cup your hands around to protect. And that's a feeling that I think so many people who are navigating infertility will know all too well. Okay, so to really get our heads around why some cycles work and others don't, we've got to start at the very beginning. We need to look at the first, most crucial piece of the puzzle, the embryo itself. Right, one of the biggest reasons an IVF cycle might not work comes down to this word, aneuploidy. Now, it sounds super technical, I know, but all it really means is that an embryo has the wrong number of chromosomes. It's actually a really common hurdle in biology, and it's a major reason why an embryo might not implant. And this makes it really clear. On the left, you've got your euploid embryo. That's the one with the right number of chromosomes, giving it a much higher chance. And on the right, the aneuploid embryo. Very often, nature just has a way of stopping these from developing, and that's what leads to a failed cycle. It really is a game of biological chance. Now, a really key factor that plays into this is maternal age. And it's a simple biological fact that as we get older, the proportion of eggs that are chromosomally abnormal tends to go up. It's so important to say this isn't anyone's fault. It's not a failing. It's just a natural part of how our bodies work, and it has a direct impact on the odds of making one of those chromosomally normal embryos. But here's the thing. Even a perfect chromosomally normal embryo isn't the whole story. So let's talk about the next piece of the puzzle, the environment that embryo needs to call home. And that brings us to endometrial receptivity. Basically, the lining of the uterus isn't just ready and waiting all the time. There's this very specific, very short period, we're talking just a few days, called the window of implantation. If you miss that window, it doesn't matter how great the embryo is. Timing is absolutely everything. So what makes for a nice, receptive home for an embryo? Well, it's a bit of a recipe. You need the lining to be thick enough to be supportive. You need the whole environment to be calm, not inflamed. And of course, you have to get the timing spot on, right in that implantation window. And as you can imagine, the picture is usually a bit more complicated. There are other things that can be going on in the background, things like hormonal imbalances, maybe from conditions like PCOS, or just general inflammation in the body. And so importantly, we have to remember male factor infertility. The health of the sperm is every bit as crucial as the health of the egg. Now, I know this can all start to feel a bit overwhelming, but this is where the story pivots towards hope. Because a failed cycle, as devastating as it is, doesn't have to be just an ending. It can be the start of a new, smarter strategy. This is all about why persistence, when it's guided by learning, can make all the difference. This, right here, is such a powerful way to reframe things. Every single attempt you make gives you and your clinic a huge amount of information. It's like you're a detective gathering clues about how your body responds to everything. So a failed cycle isn't just a loss, it's a lesson, it's data. And this learning process is really methodical. First, you review. You look back at absolutely everything. Then you adjust. Based on what you've learned, you tweak the plan, maybe change up the meds or the timing. And finally, you refine. You think about completely new approaches for the next go. It's this constant cycle of getting smarter. And all this leads to a really hopeful idea in the world of statistics: cumulative probability. The big idea is that your chance of success isn't the same flat number every time. With each attempt where you learn and adapt, the overall probability of success can actually go up. The key, though, is that you're not just repeating the same thing over and over again. You're refining it. And this chart just shows that so clearly. Look at the chance of success after one cycle. Okay, it is what it is. But then see how that grows over 3 cycles, and then again over 5? Each of those bars isn't just another try. It represents a smarter, more informed try. And that's exactly why the overall chance of success can build. So, if we pull all of this together, we come back to what really matters: your own personal journey.
Because everyone's story is different, the path forward has to be completely tailored to you.
So, what can actually be different from one cycle to the next? Well, a whole lot, actually. The medication protocols can be completely personalized. You might try a different way of doing the transfer. You could do deeper dives into uterine health. Even things like lifestyle changes can become part of a new, refined strategy. Every cycle really can be a fresh start with new information.
And that really just leaves us with a quiet moment to think about this question. With all of this in mind, what might be the next step on your path? Because ultimately, while understanding all of this is so empowering, the real path forward is found in a conversation. For the kind of personalized care that truly takes your whole story into account, the single most important conversation you can have is always with your fertility specialist. They're your partner in figuring out what comes next.